How's it going, everybody? Smitty here, and this is Uke with Smitty. Have you ever felt in your ukulele playing that you're kind of stuck in this plateau where you're playing the same things over and over and they sound the same? It's kind of the same similar patterns, and you want to branch out and try to kind of expand your creative playing ability. If that's the case, then I'm going to share a few things in this video that can be really helpful to you. What we're going to talk about is different ways to tune the ukulele, or alternate tunings. So specifically, we're going to talk about low G and then 3 alternate tunings. So if you have only played standard reentrant high G ukulele, G, C, E, A, then the first thing I suggest is experimenting with low G. And low G is not actually an alternate tuning because it's the same notes. It's G, C, E, A. It's just that the G string is an octave lower. So if you want to get into this and you have an ukulele already tuned to high G, you need to get a low G string. You can't just tune your regular high G string down 1 octave because it's not thick enough and it won't have enough tension. So you can either get an entire pack of strings that have a low G in them, or sometimes if I only need 1 low G and the rest of my set is fine, what I'll do is go to a music store and get a D string for a classical guitar, and that works. That's just the right size. So when you experiment with low G, if you have never done so, it is the exact same in terms of chords, in terms of scales and things like that. So pretty much everything you know transfers immediately. But one thing you'll notice is that if you rely on the high G string for kind of a droning sound when you play high G, which I do this a lot, when you play things like this, you have that high G kind of droning in the background, which is kind of the characteristic high G ukulele sound. If you do that on a low G, it doesn't sound that great. It kind of, because it's so loud and it overpowers the rest of the sound and kind of muddies everything up. So when you switch to low G, obviously the chords and everything will be the same, but one thing I suggest starting to play around with is experiment with kind of using that low G as like a bass note. So alternating it, things like this. And, you know, walking bass lines like things like that. So if you've never played around with a low G ukulele before, try it out. It sounds, you can do it on, you know, any size, soprano, concert, tenor. It doesn't need to be a larger ukulele. And I really like it for blues, and I find that kind of deep, bassier sounds a lot better for blues, and I like it for certain songs that you need that lower string to get the full melody, and, you know, kind of country, rockabilly style stuff. You get a fuller, richer sound with a low G. Okay, so there's our first one. Okay, so now that we've talked about low G tuning, let's talk about the 3 alternate tunings. The first one is D tuning. So instead of G, C, E, A, you're going to have A, D, F sharp, and B. A, D, F sharp, and B. And basically this is the same as a regular G, C, E, A reentrant tuned ukulele, but you're going up to capo 2. But what you'll find is it's not the same sound and feel as just capoing your ukulele to capo 2. It actually, because you're increasing the tension on the strings, it can make it a little bit brighter and a little bit louder and project a little bit better. So I like this one for soprano ukuleles and concerts as well. And what you'll find is that if you look at old music from the 1920s and 30s, this was kind of the standard way to tune ukulele, in D instead of C. So it projects a little bit better. Of course, it's a brighter sound because it's higher. There's a little bit more tension in the string, so it has a little bit of a different feel. And so this one is great if you want to, you know, break out of that creative rut that I was describing earlier, because everything you already know how to play is going to be the same. It's just going to be one step up. So if you play a G, it'll be an A. If you play a C, it'll be a D. Things like that. You know, if you're playing a G or a C from your, you know, regular G, C, E, A tuning. Because of that, it doesn't require a lot out of you to, you know, kind of force you to relearn things, which is nice. So I would say it's kind of a middle of the road alternate tuning. It's brighter, it's a little punchier, it's a little louder. Certain songs will sound a little more pleasant because they're higher, but other than that, it's not too much of a change. So D tuning, it's our first one. Okay, so our second alternate tuning that we'll talk about is called slack key. Now, slack key guitar is a way of playing guitar, a Hawaiian way where you lower it a little bit and it has a little bit of a bassier kind of sound. And on ukulele, we're going to do the same thing, but we're only going to lower one string. So if you have your low G tuned, G, C, E, A, we're going to take that A and go down to G. So you have a low G here and a high G here. And just like with a regular low G tuning, it doesn't sound too great if you just let that G drone and drone and drone. But what you will find is when you alternate the bass line with that lower G string, it's the high G here, but it's lower than it was. It was an A. You get a nice sound when you alternate the bass line and play that one. So you can make things like... how to play on these, because the whole point of this video is that it's giving you kind of some tools to help explore new ways of playing. But slack key is our second one, and it's a lot of fun. It changes a lot, surprisingly, just to change that one string. And like we're talking about here, it opens up a way to play different sounding songs and kind of get out of a creative rut. Okay, the third alternate tuning, the last one we'll talk about in this video, is called open tuning, and specifically this will be open F. So the idea behind open tuning is you take your ukulele, you make a chord, so we're going to make an F chord, and you're going to tune ukulele to that chord, okay? So in this case, instead of G, you're going to go to A for that string, you're going to leave the C string alone, and then on the E string, instead of E, you're going to go to F, and then you're going to leave the A string alone, right? So I already did that with this tenor. It's tuned to F. The reason it's called open is because when you don't play anything with your left hand and it's just totally open, you're not fretting anything, it's an open F. Now you can do this with basically any chord. You can have an open G, an open A, an open D, etc., etc. Basically you just tune ukulele to have that chord as if you're pressing those strings without anything, with open. But I like open F because you're only changing two strings, and I find it has a nice sound. You can experiment with this with a low G ukulele, a high G. I do it on both, but it's fun. It's definitely, out of the three I'm showing you here, alternate tunings, this will require you to change your playing style the most, because if you just make regular chords, there's a G, there's an F, there's a G7, C sounds okay, there's a D. It doesn't sound great because you have two different notes in there. So you can make things up. First of all, your open playing is a chord already, and so you can kind of pick on one string and lots of different ways you can do it. And also, if you use a slide or even like a metal or glass bottle, you can have like a really bluesy sound, because that's how a lot of blues slide guitars played. It's tuned to an open chord. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Those are some different alternate ways to tune ukulele that can help you get out of a creative rut. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and remember there's a free PDF in the description below with kind of this as a little reference. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.